Ladies and gentlemen, please take your seats. Please take your seats.
Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the September 2023 City Council meeting. Tonight's meeting is being held in City Council chambers and is being streamed live on City 12 TV, as well as the City Council's YouTube and Facebook pages. We also continue to post meeting information and materials on the city's website. The meeting will now come to order, and I ask the clerk to call the roll.
Councilmember Gruber. Here. Councilmember Harris. Here. Councilmember Lightfoot.
Present, ma'am.
Councilmember Martin.
Here.
Councilmember Patterson.
Here.
Councilmember Pio.
Here.
Councilmember Smith. Vice President Lupien.
Here.
President Melendez.
Here.
Thank you.
I would like to ask everyone to please join me in a moment of silence for victims of gun violence. Many families in our community have been impacted by senseless tragedy, and as we continue as a council to work on finding solutions, we ask that you join us in support of finding those solutions. Also, this month is Hispanic Heritage Month. I would like to especially remember a mentor. It is just over 5 years since the death of one of my mentors, Father Lawrence Tracy. During this Hispanic Heritage Month, I would like to acknowledge the great work and mentorship he provided to me and so many in the Hispanic community. As many knew, Father Tracy was more Puerto Rican than the Puerto Ricans. And his work carries on through so many in the community to this day. He was a man whose faith and work were synonymous with progress, and one who fought for children, families, and the everyday working class resident. In addition, as part of the moment of silence, at the request of Councilmember Martin, I'd like to acknowledge that tomorrow would be Daniel Prude's birthday. Now please join us in a moment of silence. Thank you. Councilmember Gruber, would you please lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance? So this month we have a special recognition and acknowledgement, and the Council Vice President Mary Lupien is joining me, and I'd like to ask Jennifer Feliciano to please join us at the podium. I'm going to turn it over to the Vice President.
So Jen sort of knew about this, but not really. So hopefully it's a little bit of a surprise. But Jennifer Feliciano and I met at the RCSD School number 28, and we bonded over our shared passion for students and love of social emotional learning. When we were both laid off in December of 2020, she decided to join me in my new endeavor on council as my legislative staff. She goes above and beyond for children, the children she works with, and she brought that same passion to her work in supporting me on council. She recognizes that the work we do ultimately benefits the children of Rochester. Jen is as organized and insightful as she is genuinely delightful. She's a joy to be around and showed everyone she came in contact with that she cared for them. She would buy our office staff Puerto Rican food. She gave our assistant or administrator, Wendy, her favorite candy just to make them smile. Jen is selfless, kind, tolerant, and understanding, and I will miss her collaboration. Jen, thank you for all you've done for me and for your support of the Rochester City Council. And I want to present you with this certificate. So we will do a quick picture and then we'll get started.
And just so it's clear, Jennifer has moved on and is moving on to other things, but has been the legislative aide for Council Vice President during her tenure. Next, we have the approval of the minutes by Councilmember Harris.
Thank you, President Melendez. Resolved that the minutes of the regular meeting, August 22nd, 2023, be approved as published in the official seats of the proceeding.
All in favor, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries.
The following documents are hereby directed to be received and filed. The mayor submits the following: administration, cancellation, or refund of erroneous taxes and charges for the month of September 2023. MBD grants report for the quarterly report period ending June 30th, 2023. The council submits disclosure of interest forms from Councilmember Gruber on introductories number 346 and 372, President Melendez on introductory numbers 355 and 373, Vice President Lupien and Councilmember Harris on introductories number 352, 362, and 363. Council members Martin and Smith on introductory number 372, Councilmember Patterson on introductory number 373.
Thank you. These documents will be received and filed. It is now time for the presentation and reference of petitions and any other communications. Are there any petitions? Hearing none, we will move on to the introduction of and action upon local laws, ordinances, and resolutions. So I submitted a message of necessity for introductory number 374, a resolution adopting the Pro-Housing Communities Pledge. Councilmember Patterson, as the sponsoring councilmember, would you like to speak to this item, please?
Thank you, Council President. You know, it's not often that something comes across your desk where you can just look at it and you know you have to do it. Once I became aware that the governor had made had created an opportunity for communities in Rochester, communities in New York State that have priority selection for $650 million if they pass a pro-housing pledge and also filled out some paperwork, I realized that that was something that we, as the Rochester City Council, needed to move on quickly. And just for the community out there, what is this pro-housing pledge asking us to do? It's us pledging that we're going to streamline our permitting process for multifamily housing, affordable housing, accessible housing, accelerated dwelling units, and supportive housing. The next one is adopting policies that affirmatively further fair housing. The third one is incorporating regional housing needs into planning decisions. The fourth one is increasing development capacity for residential uses. And the fifth one is enacting policies that encourage a broad range of housing development, including multifamily housing, affordable housing, accessible housing, accessory dwelling units, and supportive housing. Well, ladies and gentlemen, I humbly submit to you that we are, as a community, at the forefront of this process already. So taking a pledge to do something that this community is committed to doing and has been doing for quite some time isn't a big reach. And so I'm happy to sponsor this, and I was happy to hear that I had other colleagues that are interested in co-sponsoring it. Thank you, Mr. President.
So thank you, and I need a motion and a second to consider introductory 374.
Could we still ask questions?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay, cool.
So is there a motion?
Move it.
So moved and seconded. All those in favor of considering introductory 374, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. So additional discussions on the matter. Councilmember Martin?
Yes, I just wanted to see NBD's position and what was the timing with this? Was NBD consulted about this? What is the working relationship around this?
Actually, no. NBD wasn't consulted, but the mayor was. And when the mayor said, we agreed that we were going to do it as a council, and the mayor agreed with us. And as I said, these are all things that we already do. So there's going to be some paperwork that NBD is going to have to do, but NBD does a lot of paperwork anyway. And if this is going to give us a priority selection for a pot of money, I'm confident that the administration will support us in doing that.
Right. And to be clear, this is essentially just a pledge, right? It's not a legislative act, it's just a pledge.
This is the equivalent of what we often do when we're dealing with the state. In many instances, in order to receive funding, usually we see it more in highway funding than anything else, we have to pass a resolution of their design to support this action, saying that, and if we pass that resolution as they have submitted it, then we have access to those dollars. That's what we did in this instance. The state provided the template, law reviewed it, sent it back up, and the goal is that we pass it today.
Thank you.
Just to add to Councilmember Patterson's statement, the state really outlined a couple pathways towards gaining access to these dollars, gaining access to this program, and this was the most effective pathway, I believe, to have the legislative body pass something like this. Council Vice President.
You know, I think we wouldn't have to ask questions if we had prior knowledge to this before yesterday, and you thanked council members up here for being willing to support it, but it wasn't offered to all of us. There are 5 signatures on this this resolution when there could have been 9, and I just think it would have been helpful for us to understand a little bit more about what this was before receiving this in our inboxes yesterday. I think it sounds like a good thing to do. I'd like to continue to learn more about the sources of revenue that we could access as a city.
Thank you. Any additional questions, comments? Hearing none, I entertain a motion to adopt introductory number. Oh, sorry, Councilmember Smith.
I just wanted to agree with Council Vice President Mary Lupian. I think this is awesome legislation, especially since many of us have been in Albany fighting the governor for these dollars. So we appreciate you, Councilmember Patterson, for presenting this. And we do wish that you could have had or opted for 9 signatures instead of 5.
Councilmember Peel.
Thank you. This is not for City Council at all. It's for our state delegates out there. We shouldn't have to sign a pledge to get our fair share of money for housing in the city. The fact that we have to sign a stupid pledge to get prioritizing on a application to the state to get housing for people in need in our city is ridiculous. So for the state delegates out there, I hope that you're listening and start doing some work.
And just
Councilmember Martin.
a process question for Law. Can you walk me through how this happened and the timelines?
Specifically about when this issue was raised?
Yes, when the issue was raised, who wrote the actual legislation and the timeline in which it was turned around?
So I'll defer to the members of council about when it was first raised and addressed with the mayor. As to putting together the resolution, Councilmember Patterson is right that there's often state legislation that requires the locality to put through a resolution that basically signals officially that the municipality wants to participate. We sent that through the normal legislative drafting process with Tom Worth on our floor and got it back to everybody.
Also, Councilmember Patterson did provide us, so we could interface with law, the resolution, which was a template provided by the state of New York.
That's helpful. And if that information could be shared with the rest of the body, I think my colleagues and I are struggling because this was just introduced to us yesterday. We want to make sure that we are going through a process of reading through information that exists and making sure we understand what we're voting on.
All right, so with that, I'll entertain a motion to adopt introductory number 374.
Move it.
It's been moved, seconded. All in favor of adopting introductory number 374, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. Chairperson Lightfoot, the Parks and Public Works Committee report, please.
Yes, Mr. President, and to the Council, the Parks and Public Works Committee recommends for adoption the following titled legislation. Introduction number 344, bond ordinance of the City of Rochester, New York, authorizing the issuance of 156,000 bonds of said city to finance the Honorable Loretta C. Scott Center for Human Services Building Automation System project. Introduction number 345, authorizing an agreement for the Honorable Loretta C. Scott Center for Human Services Building Automation System project. Introduction number 346, authorizing an agreement for Rundell Library Elevator Modernization project. Introduction number 348, authorizing an agreement for the 2025 milling and resurfacing project, North Clinton Avenue, Cumberland Street to East Ridge Road. Introduction number 349, appropriating funds for the State Street Reconstruction project. The Parks and Public Works Committee recommends consideration the following title legislation. Introduction number 347, authorizing a change in traffic flow, alterations of pavement widths and acquisitions of easements for the Genesee Street Reconstruction project, Elmwood Avenue to Brooks Avenue. Respectfully submitted, Mr. President, by Councilmember Dr. Mitch Gruber, Jose Pio, Vice President Mary Lupian, President Miguel Melendez, and myself, Willie J. Lightfoot.
Thank you, Chairperson Lightfoot. That report will be received, filed, and published, and will proceed with the vote. Introductory number 344, a bond ordinance of the City of Rochester, New York, authorizing the issuance of 156,000 bonds of said city to finance the Honorable Loretta C. Scott Center for Human Services Building Automation Systems project. This requires a roll call.
Councilmember Gruber. Yes. Councilmember Harris.
Yes.
Councilmember Lightfoot.
Yes.
Councilmember Martin.
Yes.
Councilmember Patterson.
Yes.
Councilmember Pio.
Yes.
Councilmember Smith.
Yes.
Vice President Lupian.
Yes.
President Melendez.
Yes.
Thank you.
The motion carries. Introductory number 345, authorizing an agreement for the Honorable Loretta C. Scott Center for Human Services Building Automation System project. All in favor, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. Introductory number 346, authorizing an agreement for the Rundell Library Elevator Modernization Project. Councilmember Gruber has submitted a disclosure of interest form as he is the council liaison to the Rochester Public Library Board, but he may vote. All in favor, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. Introductory number 347, authorizing a change in traffic flow, alteration of pavement widths, and acquisition of easements for the Genesee Street Reconstruction Project, Elmwood Avenue to Brooks Avenue. All in favor, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. Introductory number 348, authorizing an agreement for the 2025 milling and resurfacing project, North Clinton Avenue, Cumberland Street to East Ridge Road. All in favor, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. Introductory number 349, appropriating funds for the State Street Reconstruction Project. All in favor, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. Chairperson Patterson, the Neighborhood and Business Development Committee report, please.
Thank you, Mr. President. To the Council, the Neighborhood and Business Development Committee recommends for adoption the following entitled legislation. Introductory number 350, authorizing the sale of real estate. Introductory number 351, authorizing the acceptance by donation of a portion of 251 North Union Street. Introductory number 352, authorizing the acquisition of real estate for the Rochester City School District's World of Inquiry, Go Griffins, School number 58, and amending the 2023-2024 budget. Introductory number 354, authorizing a loan agreement and payment in lieu of taxes agreement for the Center City Courtyard Affordable Housing Project. Introductory number 355, authorizing the sale of real estate, a loan agreement, and payment in lieu of taxes agreement for the Alta Vista at St. Joseph's Park Affordable Housing Project. The Neighborhood and Business Development Committee recommends for consideration the following entitled legislation. Introductory number 353, amending the zoning map by changing the zoning classification of numbers 1040, 1044, 1100 through 1170, 1180, and 1186 through 1194 University Avenue. This report is respectfully submitted by Council members Lashady Harris, Kimberly Smith, myself, Michael A. Patterson, Council Vice President Mary Lupian, and Council President Miguel A. Melendez, Jr.
Thank you, Chairperson Patterson. That report will be received, filed, and published, and will proceed with the vote. Introductory number 350, authorizing the sale of real estate. All in favor, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. Introductory number 351, authorizing the acceptance by donation of a portion of 251 North Union Street. All in favor, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. Introductory number 352, authorizing the acquisition of real estate for the Rochester City School District's World of Inquiry, School Number 58, and amending the 2023-24 budget. Vice President Lupien and Councilmember Harris have submitted disclosure of interest forms as they are employed by the Rochester City School District. They may discuss and vote on this item. All in favor, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. Introductory number 353, amending the zoning map by changing the zoning classification of numbers 1040, 1044, 1100, 1170, 1180, and 1186 to 1194 University Avenue. All in favor, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. Introductory number 354, authorizing a loan agreement and payment in lieu of taxes for the Center City Courtyard Affordable Housing Project. All in favor, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. Introductory number 355, authorizing the sale of real estate, a loan agreement and payment in lieu of taxes agreement for the Alta Vista at St. Joseph Park Affordable Housing Project. I have submitted a disclosure of interest form as I am employed by the Ibero-American Development Corporation. I'm recusing myself from deliberations and will be abstaining from the vote. All in favor, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Abstain. Motion carries. Chairperson Harris, the Recreation and Human Services Committee report, please.
Thank you, President Melendez. To the Council, the Recreation and Human Services Committee recommends adoption for the following entitled legislation. Introductory number 356, authorizing an agreement for the Champion Academy Extreme Mentoring and Empowerment Initiative. Introductory number 357, authorizing an agreement with the Dormitory Authority of the State of New York to fund a race timing system for the Genesee Valley Park Sports Complex pool. Introductory number 358, authorizing an agreement for Victims of Crime Act Victim and Witness Assistance Grant. Introductory number 359, appropriating funds and authorizing agreements for the Sexual Risk Avoidance Education Grant Program. This report was respectfully submitted by Councilmember Willie J. Lightfoot, Councilmember Stanley Martin, Vice President Councilmember Mary Lupien, President Miguel A. Melendez, and myself, LaShaye D. Harris.
Thank you, Chairperson Harris. That report will be received, filed, and published, and we'll proceed with the vote. Introductory number 356, authorizing an agreement for the Champion Academy Extreme Mentoring and Empowerment Initiative. All in favor, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed? The motion carries. Introductory number 357, authorizing an agreement with the Dormitory Authority of the State of New York to fund a race timing system for the Genesee Valley Park Sports Complex pool. All in favor, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. Introductory number 358, authorizing an agreement for the Victims of Crime Act Victim and Witness Assistance Grant. All in favor, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. Introductory number 359, appropriating funds and authorizing agreements for the Sexual Risk Avoidance Education Grant Program. All in favor, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. I will now read the Public Safety Committee report to the Council. The Public Safety Committee recommends for adoption the following entitled legislation. Introductory number 360, bond ordinance of the City of Rochester, New York, authorizing the issuance of $2,370,000 bonds of said city to finance the replacement of Truck 3 at the South Avenue Firehouse and the Protectives Rescue vehicle located at the Chestnut Street Firehouse. Introductory number 361, authorizing an agreement for electronic patient care reporting software and support. Introductory number 362, authorizing intermunicipal agreements with the Rochester City School District and amending the 2023-24 budget with regard to overtime police services for school session arrival and dismissal periods and for other events. Introductory number 363, authorizing an intermunicipal agreement and amending the 2023-24 budget for the Pathways to Peace school-based programming. Introductory number 364, authorizing an agreement relating to the Crime Stoppers program. This report was respectfully submitted by Council members Mitch Gruber, Lashady Harris, Willie J. Lightfoot, Stanley Martin, Michael A. Patterson, Jose Pio, Vice President Mary Lupian, Councilmember Kim Smith, and myself, Miguel A. Melendez, Jr. So that report will be received, filed, and published, and we'll proceed with the vote. Introductory number 360, a bond ordinance of the City of Rochester, New York, authorizing the issuance of 2,370,000 bonds of said city to finance the replacement of Truck 3 at the South Avenue Firehouse and Protectives Rescue vehicle located at the Chestnut Street Firehouse. This requires a roll call vote.
Councilmember Gruber. Yes. Councilmember Harris. Yes. Councilmember Lightfoot.
Yes.
Councilmember Martin.
Yes.
Councilmember Patterson.
Yes.
Councilmember Pio.
Yes.
Councilmember Smith.
Yes.
Vice President Lupian.
Yes.
President Melendez.
Yes.
Thank you.
Motion carries. Introductory number 361, authorizing an agreement for electronic patient care reporting software and support. All in favor, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. Introductory number 362, authorizing intermunicipal agreements with the Rochester City School District and amending the 2023-24 budget with regard to overtime police services for school session arrival and dismissal periods and for other events. Vice President Lupian and Councilmember Harris have submitted disclosure of interest forms as they are employed by the Rochester City School District. All in favor, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed?
No.
Roll call.
Councilmember Gruber. Yes. Councilmember Harris.
Yes.
Councilmember Lightfoot.
Yes.
Councilmember Martin.
No.
Councilmember Patterson.
Absolutely.
Councilmember Pio.
Yes.
Councilmember Smith.
Yes.
Vice President Lupian.
Yes.
President Melendez.
Yes.
Thank you.
The motion carries. Introductory number 362, authorizing an intermunicipal agreement and amending the 2023-24 budget for the Pathways to Peace school-based programming. Once again, Vice President Lupian and Councilmember Harris have submitted disclosure of interest forms as they're employed by the Rochester City School District. All those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries.
I think you said 362, but did you mean 363?
My apologies. We just voted on 363 for clarity. Thank you.
You want to do it again?
We will do it again. Introductory number 363. All those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. Introductory number 364, authorizing an agreement relating to the Crime Stoppers program. All in favor, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed?
No.
Roll call.
Councilmember Gruber. Yes. Councilmember Harris.
Yes.
Councilmember Lightfoot.
Yes.
Councilmember Martin.
No.
Councilmember Patterson.
Absolutely.
Councilmember Pio.
Yes.
Councilmember Smith.
Yes.
Vice President Lupian.
No.
President Melendez.
Yes.
Thank you.
The motion carries. Vice President Lupian, the Committee of the Whole report, please.
To the Council, the Committee of the Whole recommends for adoption the following entitled legislation. Introductory number 372, resolution granting to the standard workday and retirement reporting for Council members Gruber, Martin, and Smith. Introductory number 373, resolution relating to the standard workday and retirement reporting for Council members Melendez and Patterson. The Committee of the Whole recommends the followed entitled legislation to be held in committee. Introductory number 370, resolution confirming the appointment of the fire chief. Respectfully submitted by Mitch Gruber, Councilmember Ms. Gruber, Councilmember Lashady Harris, Councilmember Willie J. Lightfoot, Councilmember Stanley Martin, President Miguel A. Melendez, Councilmember Michael A. Patterson, Councilmember Jose Pio, Councilmember Kim Smith, and myself.
Thank you, Vice President. That report will be received, filed, and published, and we'll proceed with the vote. Introductory number 372, a resolution relating to standard workday and retirement reporting for Council members Gruber, Martin, and Smith. Council members Gruber, Martin, and Smith submitted disclosure of interest forms and will be abstaining from the vote. All those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed? And 3 abstentions. Introductory number 373, a resolution relating to standard workday and retirement reporting for Council members Melendez and Patterson. Both Councilmember Patterson and I submitted disclosure of interest forms, and we will be abstaining from the vote. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
Abstain.
Abstain. Motion carries. Vice President, do you have a motion related to introductory number 370?
Why, yes, I do. I would like to make a motion to discharge introductory number 370 from committee. Can I have a second?
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Let's vote on discharge and introductory number 370 from committee. All those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. So now we will vote on introductory number 370. Before we do that, given that this was following a confirmation hearing, I want to give the opportunity for my colleagues if there's anything additional to ask. Councilmember Lightfoot.
Thank you, Mr. President. I was hoping that that our council members would have gotten a copy of introductory number 97 prior to this confirmation tonight. I did send a request over to the mayor. He did give back some information in regards to that. But I guess my first question would be to the chief, have you seen the report, this report done by All Things Diverse, introductory 97?
Yes, sir. I'm sorry, I'll let the chief answer in a second. I want to be clear, did you get the information that was sent over related to introductory?
We got an update, but we did not get a report. And then there was another email that went out that said, from the maker of the report, that went out to some of our council members that said the report was done.
Right, so first off, I haven't seen the report yet.
Okay.
I just got it, and I think the chief just got it on the 18th, which was yesterday.
Right.
Anything else you want to add, chief?
No, I did see the report. I received it on the 18th. I've taken a preliminary review of it, and I've started to generate questions of my own accord for some clarifications of the report.
Mayor, when can we expect the council to receive that?
Right after I finish review. I haven't even seen it yet. And,
Okay.
and as soon as I get it, I will make sure that everybody gets it. I wanted to make sure that the fire chief has it as well. So we will get that out after we have it reviewed for sure.
So I bring this up, Chief, because I think it's very important, and there's no reflection on you, sir. I want to be very clear about that. But I do think, and I want to be very intentional, that our council has been very passionate. I know Councilmember Martin had a lot of questions concerning introductory number 97, and we have had some very public, and it's no secret, it's national news of some of the issues that we've had within the Rochester Fire Department. I spent 20 years on the Rochester Fire Department.
Yes, sir.
So I'm not just talking about something I read in a book or something that was a rumor. You know, I lived it, right? And I have a son that's on the Rochester Fire Department as well. And so there is, unfortunately, some things that are historically, structurally, that is a history within this department that came to a very forefront in the nation, across the country, that we were highlighted in. And as next chief, it is important that we as a council, as we're confirming the next chief, that we are confirming an individual and a person that is going to be able to deal with these types of issues and problems, especially around concerning structural institutional racism and diversity within all systems. I'm not just going to identify the Rochester Fire Department, because as the People's Institute, the mayor, we just had them in town doing work on racial equity and leadership across all of our departments, and we understand and realize, and we're not going to be, naive to the fact that exists in all systems. But it definitely within the fire department. So, sir, I just want you to understand this council is going to be paying very close attention going forward to what's going on within the department in regards to this report, what's going to be said or is said in this report, and what is the plan going forward to make sure that we're dealing with those types of issues that came to the very forefront nationally within this department. So I just wanted to be clear. It's no reflection on you, sir, because you were not here. You had nothing to do with that. However, it's going to be your responsibility going forward if you're confirmed tonight.
Am I okay to respond? Well, I appreciate your comments, sir, and I look forward to accepting the role and responsibility and taking a multifaceted approach based upon the report. I will do my due diligence, and I will invoke my zero tolerance for anything that is not appropriate or acceptable in the fire department. And I will ask you, as the council, to support me in whatever decisions that I come up with.
Thank you.
Councilmember Martin.
I want to say thank you, Councilmember Lightfoot, for speaking up on this issue and always being a leader on the forefront when it comes to the fire department. I do have a question for the mayor. I understand you have the report in your possession right now. Could you help me understand why our reading of the report is contingent upon your review first?
Only because it's still in the draft format. It's not a final report yet. So I want to make sure that I look at it and review. We do that with all our reports. AMR, another one I'm reviewing that council is going to get is the Fitch report. That's still in draft format, and it's only because I literally just got the report. The chief literally just got the report. We would have loved to have it faster, but from the time, if you remember, we passed the resolution in March. There was time to then get them started on the contract. So they didn't get started until probably 2 months ago. And we're just now getting to the report. So that's the only reason why. Okay. And just one other point, I'm glad you asked that question. Just so everyone is clear, any challenges that have happened in the fire department have probably been long-standing, right? As I like to remind people, many of us have been on the job, at least the newer council members, we've been on the job. Me and the mayor's office and some of the newer council members just got to council. I think we're at like 640-something days. And we know that it's going to take a lot of work for this. So a lot of the challenges that we have, these aren't new. They've been going on a long time. As I joke with the staff, I just drew the short straw to be here at a time of this to try to now address issues that have been long-standing. So I want to get that on the record. But to your point, Councilman Martin, we're going to get that out as soon as possible, because the sooner we can get it out, the sooner we can make any changes that need to happen. And I hope that will be within the next week or so.
Thank you.
Any additional questions? All right, so I'll ask us to consider adopting Chief Napolitano. All in favor of introductory 370, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. Chief, I just want to say congratulations. As you already know, the Rochester Fire Department is among the very best, not only in the state, but in the nation. And so we look forward to working with you in partnership with the mayor to make sure our great fire department and becomes an even more equitable fire department, as we've alluded to up here, that is responsive and inclusive organization, and continue to keep the RFD among the very best of the best. Thank you, sir. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Chairperson Gruber, the Finance Committee report.
To the Council, the Finance Committee recommends for adoption the following entitled legislation. Introduction number 365, a resolution approving an appointment to the Rochester Civil Service Commission. Introduction number 366, authorizing an agreement and amending the 2023-24 budget to establish a bank-on coalition. Introduction number 367, authorizing a master license agreement with Unity National LLC. Introduction number 368, authorizing an amendatory agreement relating to securities litigation services. Introduction number 371, authorizing agreements to provide revenue control equipment and services for municipal parking garages. The Finance Committee recommends for the following entitled legislation to be held in committee. Introduction number 369, appropriating opioid compensation funds and authorizing agreements for the Neighborhood Ambassador Program. This report was respectfully submitted by Council members Michael Patterson, Mary Lupian, Kim Smith, Miguel Melendez, and myself, Mitch Gruber.
Thank you, Chairperson Gruber. That report will be received, filed, and published, and we'll proceed with the vote. Introductory number 365, a resolution approving an appointment to the Rochester Civil Service Commission. All in favor, please say aye. Aye. All opposed, say nay. Motion carries. Introductory number 366, authorizing an agreement and amending the 2023-24 budget to establish a bank-on coalition. All in favor, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. Chair Gruber, do you have a motion related to introductory number 367?
Yes, the administration has requested this item to return to committee. Before I make a motion legislation, can Mayor Evans, can you or someone from your team please provide a brief explanation of why this action is necessary? James, do you know the answer to who made the request?
Do you know who made the request, Mr. Chief of Staff? Because it wasn't made by the mayor.
We understand it came from the law department.
I can check into that. I'm not aware of it coming from law.
But, Josanne, it is correct that there is a request for it to be returned to committee. Okay.
So I don't.
So my understanding, Mr. Mayor, is that there was a concern about the company, United National LLC, possibly having a name change.
Okay. Yeah, I don't need to speak to it. Just return it to me.
I'd like to understand why we're being asked to do so. So that was.
I'm thinking it's what the president just said. If that's your understanding, Mr. President, I'm sure that's correct. Yeah, that's correct. So what the president said. Yeah, thank you, Mr. President.
Okay, then we will make a motion to return instruction number 367 to committee. Do I have a second?
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. All those in favor of returning the introductory to committee, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. Introductory number 368, authorizing a mandatory agreement relating to securities litigation services. All in favor, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries.
I just have a quick question on this.
On introductory 368?
Yes, just a quick ask to law. Could you to finance, could you send just a budget of how much has already been spent on this litigation and any projected cost that you foresee with the ongoing litigation?
Yes, we can get you that, and it's going to give us all a heart attack. But we'll definitely get that to you.
Yeah, Councilmember Patterson.
Mr. Mayor, could you briefly cover again for the community why we are defending this past staff? I think it's very important that people understand the reason behind it. You covered it during the committee meeting, but I think you should cover it again if you can.
Yeah, so if you remember in 2019, the Rochester City School District had a major financial crisis that almost put them on the brink of financial ruin. And as a result, they had to go to the state to get funds. Because they are a fiscally dependent school district and we are responsible for issuing their bonds, the SEC did not understand and did not see us as separate entities. And as a result, the SEC said that the chief financial officer at the time should have known about the school district's financial position and the challenges that they were in, even though we do not have the ability to audit their books, even though we do not control their finances, and all that we do is issue bonds based upon what they tell us. So we believe that this would send a chilling message to anyone, including city council members or mayors or anyone that would ever work in city government, if someone is going to be held responsible for financial improprieties that happens in which they are not a part of. Had our employee or this employee or any of us had something to do with this, I would say, fine, let's pay the fine and let's move on. But this is really a statement to say, and we're willing to go as far as we can with this, that people should not be held responsible for things that they did not do in the commission of their job. And that's what we're saying here. And as a result, this has resulted in cost to taxpayers on dollars that we could be spending on other things. And we hope that we will be able to recoup some of these dollars once we get a resolution on this. But we have also appealed to our elected representatives in the federal government to see if they can help and intervene and provide us some relief to this madness, because it makes no sense that someone who has absolutely no jurisdiction over the Rochester City School District would be held responsible for something that they did not do. It would be like us being held responsible for something that happens over at the county, or someone at the county being responsible for being held responsible for something that happened over here at the city. It's completely ludicrous, and we want to continue to fight it. It's just unfortunate that it's costing us the amount of money that you're seeing here.
All right. Any additional comments here? Seeing none, we'll move to introductory number 371, authorizing agreements to provide revenue control equipment and services for municipal parking garages. All those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. So before we end tonight, as a point of privilege, I would like to end the meeting tonight by addressing introductory 369 relating to establishing pilot ambassador programs. The information we received and the KPIs we received were much appreciated. And one of the challenges we faced this month is that some of it was different than the advocacy we received from those that were in favor of the introductory at Speak to Council. So following that session, Speak to Council, the majority of council believes we need clarity on this item, and it's our hope that we will gain that clarity over the next council cycle, and we'll be looking for deliverables for each project under this introductory expected outcomes, and we really require this information in detail so that council can make an informed decision. So as always, we look forward to working with the administration and receiving the important information we need to do our jobs as members of this prestigious body. With no further business before the council, we stand adjourned.
Mr. President, I just wanted to take a moment and congratulate you on being selected as a member of the class of 40 under 40. So congratulations on that.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I'm not one for such things, but I appreciate the recognition.
That's why I did it. Thank you.
Have a good night, everyone.